So an update on the Camaro. I got the Torqhead in. I got a tray out of a LS 4th gen Camaro, and I used that. It slid right in there. That's the 0411 PCM. It was really easy to hook up. You got the coil harness that just plugs into the harness that they supply that goes to the middle port on the Torqhead 0411. And then up here on the 96 model, it plugs into the ignition control module plug-in, and you don't use the plug-in for the coil. I just cut it and tucked it back up inside there. And then down here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you put the Torqhead sending unit where the Opti would originally go, and then you space it out with the shims. The instructions are really clear and really easy. And then once you get the spacing right and everything and tighten everything down, and then you just plug the cam sensor and the crank sensor and the crank sensor, and they're marked. And that was it. Started right up. But the biggest problem I had was getting the Woodruff key in the slot. I guess where my hub had spun so much, it messed that up a little, so I had to grind that down a little bit to get the Woodruff key in. And even after I got it in there, because I mean, it's hard to reach all the way back there and press it down in the back, and I didn't want it too loose. And when you tried to put the hub on, the Woodruff key would go crooked, and I had to pull it off and do it again. And finally, I got it on there. But that was the biggest problem. Everything else was pretty much just plug and play. And then that issue I was having with it cutting out at 2400 to 3200 RPM, it was still there. But I wanted to go to the Torqhead anyway, so I could do the flex fuel. See, I've got the flex fuel sensor back there. Right now I'm just running an E85 tune, and I'm going to get a gauge just to hook up to that, just so I can be able to read my E85 content. But anyway, I got sidetracked there. But anyway, yeah, everything just plugged right up and played. But one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Torqhead is because nobody will dyno tune an LT1, and I'm not sure why. Because the 94, 95 ECMs, they are so easy to tune, it's not even funny. It's way easier than HP tuners. I'm still trying to learn HP tuners, but it's way more confusing. Like, you got cylinder air mass, and it contributes from a lot of different factors and to what the cylinder air mass is. And whereas the on tuner cats, which what I was using for the 94, 95 computers, you just did the cells for the map sensor, and that was it. And that's what the cells and the fueling cells for the for VE and on speed density, and then MAF. I mean, it was a lot easier, but I'm figuring it out. I'm getting a tune. I'm doing the email tune for right now, because that miss, it was actually in the tune. I had two tuners send me a file, and they were both doing that, and come to find out, the 58 millimeter throttle body, it just, as soon as you crack the throttle, it's just letting in too much air. So if I had to do that over again, I'd probably went with the 52. I think there's more capabilities as far as in the tune, rather than right at 20% throttle, it's like it's wanting a ton of fuel. And if it don't get it, it pops through the it lean backfires. So, but anyway, that was the issue there. But anyway, I got the Torqhead so I could do the so I could do the dyno tuning and the flex fuel. So like I said, no one to dyno tune the LT1s for. And again, I don't know why the 94, 95 ECM, PCMs, or whatever you want to call them, they're really easy to tune. But that's where we're at. I was able to get the tune lined out a little bit with Shore Tuning. They're the ones that's email tuning it. I wanted to get it drivable, and I wanted to get that lean backfire out of there, what I initially thought was a miss. I wanted to get that out of there before I tried to take it to a dyno tune, because I didn't want to look stupid pulling up to a dyno tune. They're like, oh, it's missing, take it home. But come to find out it was in the tune, so that really don't matter, and it's really drivable. And I actually, the tune that Shore Tuning's doing, it wasn't dialed in just yet, but I've been wanting to race it all year, so I just threw a bunch of fuel at it. I took it to the drag strip anyway, and it did actually pretty good. So the DA was right around 2,500, usually in that weather. The way it was before, it ran 11.6, 11.7. And then, you know, with the new stuff that I've done to it, E85 ported intake, bigger throttle body, and the drag pack and the cow hood, and now it runs 11.3 in that same weather that it usually run 11.6, 11.7, which DA's out to about 11.1. So hopefully Shore Tuning can get the tune dialed in a little bit better than I can, and go over there on a good DA day. That DA calculator I use, it's usually always dead on for me, because it said that this car would, when I was running 11.6, 11.7, you know, in high DA, that DA calculator said it would run 11.32, and I went over there on a low DA day. It gets down to the negative DA here sometimes, even though we're at like 800, 900 feet. But on a cold day, sunny day, the DA gets down, and the car run what them DA calculators that I use say it would. So I believe it'll definitely run 11.1, so in good DA, and then obviously he'll do a lot better on the tune than I would, because I really didn't know what I was doing. I just threw a bunch of fuel at it, and which I think it wound up being still a little lean, because everybody's telling me even on motor you should run 7.9 E85 AFR, even naturally aspirated. And I think when you first hit the gas it dropped to 7.7, but before it was even, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, it was already at 8.3. So, but it did okay, and I was happy with it. But really like to see a 10.9 on this combo here. I don't care if it's even in good weather, but even in good weather, I get a 10.9. I'll be happy with that. And then we'll spray a 200 shot and see if we can get in the nines.